At my wife's baby shower, her mom said, "This child will finally have a real father." Everyone laughed. I stayed silent. Next morning, the lease was terminated, credit cards canceled, and her real father got evicted. Now she wants to talk. But, hey Reddit, I've been lurking here for years, reading stories about people getting blindsided by those closest to them. I always thought I had a pretty good radar for that kind of thing. Turns out I didn't. Not even close. I'm 35, married for now, to my wife, Elena, who's 31. We've been together for 6 years, married for 3. No kids. Well, we didn't have any kids until this pregnancy, which was a big deal for both of us. At least I thought it was. We bought a house together 2 years ago. I paid the down payment, $110,000, from my savings and inheritance. She insisted we split mortgage payments afterward. But guess who always ended up covering her unexpected expenses? Me. But I didn't mind. I loved her. She was charming, warm, and always made me feel like we were in it together, building something. We hosted the baby shower at our house last Saturday. It was Elena's idea to keep it small, close family, a few friends, nothing extravagant. She said she didn't want to stress the baby. I thought that was sweet. The truth is, the baby shower wasn't for me. That became very clear halfway through the afternoon, when the champagne came out for the guests, and her mother raised a toast. "To my beautiful daughter and this beautiful baby," she said, smiling wide. "I'm just so happy this child will finally have a real father." People laughed. I didn't. She even nudged the guy next to her. I recognized him, though I didn't know him well. His name is Jeremy. He's been in Elena's life since college. Supposedly, he was a close family friend, and her mom always invited him to events. I thought nothing of it. At least not until that moment, when I saw Elena's face flush and her eyes dart toward me. I sat there, silent, holding a piece of carrot cake I suddenly didn't want. Later, she said it was a joke, that her mom had been drinking, and that I was reading into it. I didn't argue, but something in me shifted, like a switch flipped. I stayed quiet for the rest of the party. The next morning, I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I didn't even ask questions. I made coffee like normal. Then I sat down at my laptop. And that's when everything started unraveling. After the baby shower, I didn't sleep. Not really. Elena was out like a light, probably the champagne. I laid there next to her, staring at the ceiling fan, replaying her mom's toast over and over like a glitching video. A real father. The way everyone laughed. The way Jeremy smiled. The way Elena wouldn't look at me. So yeah, coffee, laptop, early morning. That's when I started going through our finances. Not because I suspected anything specific. I just needed something to control, something concrete. Something that wasn't gaslighting in a party dress. First thing I noticed, our joint credit card was maxed out. We don't carry balances. That's always been our thing. But here it was $9,811 and change, mostly racked up in the past 6 months. And the weird part? I didn't recognize half the charges. Baby stores, sure. But also hotel stays, Uber rides in neighborhoods we don't live in, and a string of restaurant dinners in Spokane Valley, all while I was out of town for work. I clicked through our shared Amazon account. Guess whose address popped up under recent shipping locations? Jeremy's. As in, the family friend. The guy sitting front row at the baby shower like he was the one being honored. At that point, I still hadn't said a word to Elena. I logged into our Ring camera account. I hadn't checked footage in weeks, no reason to. But the activity history on Thursday and Friday? Motion detected at 11:47 p.m. Both nights. Camera disabled 5 minutes later. System turned off remotely. I never turned it off. She never mentioned it. I went cold. That kind of cold you feel in your bones. So I did something I hadn't done in years. I opened her old laptop, the one she left in the guest room after buying a new MacBook. She still used the same password. I know because I helped her set it years ago. Inbox was mostly junk. But the sent folder? That was something else. I'll spare you the long version. Here's the summary. Elena and Jeremy have been talking for over a year. And by talking, I mean exchanging photos, hotel meetups, and long email chains about how different life would have been if they just made the right choice in college. Yeah. One email, dated 2 weeks before the baby shower, actually said, I know he's trying, but you deserve a partner who makes you feel seen. Our baby deserves that too. Our baby. That word broke something in me. I closed the laptop, and I started planning. I didn't confront her that morning. Didn't flip a table. Didn't yell, "How could you?" while holding up the laptop like a movie scene. I didn't want drama. I wanted evidence. Because let me be very clear here, I wasn't just dealing with cheating. I was dealing with paternity fraud. Or at least the possibility of it. And that's not something you scream about. That's something you build a paper trail for. So I started small. I screenshotted the credit card statements, downloaded the Amazon shipping logs, took pictures of her emails to Jeremy with timestamps. I screen recorded the Ring camera history, showing the exact moments it was disabled. Then I called a lawyer. Not some random name from Google. A buddy of mine, let's call him David, works in family law. I didn't give him all the details. Just said I had a sensitive issue involving potential infidelity, financial misuse, and upcoming paternity concerns. He didn't even flinch. Step 1, he told me. Do not confront her yet. Get a paternity test as soon as you can. Quietly, privately. You only get one shot at clean evidence. I wasn't even sure how to do that without raising suspicion. But David had contacts. He connected me with a private lab that handles prenatal paternity, blood test for the mother, cheek swab for the potential father. They didn't need Jeremy to know. They just needed Elena to believe it was some routine screening her OB recommended. She didn't question it. Honestly, that scared me more than if she had. That afternoon, I also called our leasing company. The house was in both our names, but the lease for the studio apartment above our garage, solely in mine. Jeremy had been staying there while looking for a new place. According to Elena, news to me, I told them the lease was terminated effective immediately. I also filed a trespass order with local PD. Nothing aggressive, just enough to cover my ass if he refused to leave. Then I called our bank. The joint credit card? Cancelled. Her gas card? Gone. Streaming services? Password changed. She wouldn't even know it until Monday. I was methodical, ice cold. But inside, I felt like my lungs had collapsed. Sunday morning, 7:02 a.m. I heard the footsteps above the garage. Heard the water running. Heard his stupid laugh echo through the pipes. Like he lived here. Like he belonged. I waited until I saw him come down to his car. He was barefoot, wearing basketball shorts and one of my hoodies. I stepped outside with a coffee in one hand and a folded paper in the other. He froze when he saw me. "Morning," I said, calm as stone. "This is yours." I handed him the termination notice, legally worded, signed by property management, effective immediately. He tried to play it off at first. "Elena said I could stay through the week," he mumbled. "Elena doesn't own the lease," I replied. "I do, and you're trespassing now." He got mouthy, said something about me being dramatic, and how this doesn't have to get messy. I said nothing, just pointed toward the sidewalk where his car was parked. Then I turned around and walked back into the house. That was it. No yelling, no threats, no fight. By 10 a.m., he was gone. Elena came downstairs an hour later, rubbing her eyes, still in pajamas. She asked why Jeremy's car wasn't outside. I didn't look up from my coffee, just said, "Lease is over. He doesn't live here anymore." Her whole face changed. "You kicked him out?" "No," I said. "I removed a man trespassing on my property." She opened her mouth like she was about to argue, but stopped. She knew I knew. She didn't ask how. Then she got defensive, said I should have talked to her first, that I was overreacting, and that I had no right to humiliate someone like that. I just laughed, for the first time in days, not because it was funny, but because it was so predictable. That was her play, always had been. Make it about tone, not truth. I stood up, looked her dead in the eyes and said, "You've got until tomorrow night to find a place to stay." That shut her up. She tried to say something else, but the words got stuck in her throat. Her eyes welled up, and for a second I actually felt sorry for her. But only for a second. By Sunday night, she was trying to talk. You know the tone. Soft, careful, like I was a child about to ruin Christmas because I didn't understand the bigger picture. She made pasta, set the table, even lit a candle, like we were going to pretend we hadn't just ripped the floorboards out of our marriage that morning. "Can we sit?" she asked. I didn't sit. She took a deep breath and went into her monologue. "I know things have been tense lately," she started, "but I think we're both under a lot of pressure. I want to remind you that this baby is coming soon, and we need to be a team." I cut her off. "Elena, is the baby mine?" Silence. I didn't repeat myself. I just stood there, arms crossed, waiting. She blinked. Once, twice. Then her eyes filled with tears. "That's not a fair question," she whispered. That told me everything I needed to know. I didn't yell. I didn't move. Just asked again, quieter this time. "Is the baby mine?" "I don't know," she said finally. "Okay? I don't know. It might be. Probably is." Probably. That word hit harder than anything else. She kept talking, trying to backpedal. "It was just one time." It wasn't. "We were going through a rough patch." We weren't. I was confused. She wasn't. Then came the guilt trip. "You're seriously going to abandon me while I'm pregnant? What kind of man does that?" I stayed silent. "You're going to leave your child, our child, just because I made a mistake?" Still silent. "You don't mean this. You're just emotional. You're not thinking clearly." That was the moment I walked away from the table, blew out the candle, took my plate and scraped it into the trash. No yelling, no rage, just done. She followed me to the hallway. "So what, you're just going to throw away 6 years? Just like that?" I turned to her, for what I hoped would be the last time that night, and said, "You threw it away. I'm just packing it up." Then I closed the bedroom door, locked it. She slept on the couch. Or maybe she didn't sleep at all. I didn't care. The lab results came in 3 days later. I didn't rush them. I didn't need to. I already knew what they'd say. But I still stared at the PDF file for a good 5 minutes before opening it. Like if I didn't look, I could still pretend my life wasn't being rerouted in real time. But I opened it. Probability of paternity, 0. 0%. I sat there in my parked car, gripping the steering wheel like it might keep me from falling through the floor. This wasn't my kid. All the nursery plans, all the baby name debates, all the talks about raising someone who would make the world better, gone. Like a switch flipped and erased every version of the future I thought I had. And Jeremy? He knew. There were messages in the email thread I hadn't seen the first time, buried in an old folder. Him saying things like, "Can't wait to meet our little man," and "Don't worry, I'll be the dad he deserves." They'd been planning this behind my back. While I was out of town closing deals and funding her maternity wardrobe, they were laying bricks for a new life. One that didn't include me, at least not as anything more than a sponsor with a wallet. And that's when it all clicked. The sudden baby talk after years of not being ready. The way she kept nudging me toward prenups, just in case. The increasing push to put everything in joint accounts after she got pregnant. She wasn't just cheating. She was orchestrating a slow-motion replacement. A new baby. A real father. My house. My money. My silence. I texted the lawyer. Got the results. 0%. Let's move. He replied in under a minute. Understood. Starting paperwork. Stay quiet. We do this clean. I put my phone down. And for the first time since the baby shower, I let myself cry. Not because I lost a baby, but because I finally saw who I'd actually been married to. I wasn't planning to tell anyone yet. Not her parents, not mine, not even our mutual friends. But then her mom forced my hand. Tuesday afternoon, I got a call from my brother, sounding confused. "Hey man, are you okay?" I told him I was fine. He hesitated, then said, "It's just, Elena's mom posted something on Facebook this morning. A picture of the baby shower with a caption like, 'So thankful our grandchild will be raised in love by parents who truly belong together.'" I felt my throat tighten. It wasn't just the words, it was the smugness, the public claiming of Jeremy, the complete erasure of me. But it got worse. Later that day, a screenshot landed in my lap, courtesy of a friend who was in one of Elena's WhatsApp groups. Apparently, her mom had sent a message to the entire baby shower group chat by accident instead of just Elena. It said, "Thank God it's almost over. Once she's moved in with Jeremy full-time, we won't have to tiptoe around that husband anymore. I know she's scared about the money, but it'll work out. They're meant to be." So, they had a plan. I wasn't paranoid. I wasn't overthinking. They were literally waiting for the right moment to phase me out. After the baby was born, after the money and house were locked in, after I was legally and emotionally trapped. Elena never denied it. When I showed her the screenshot, she just said, "My mom didn't mean it like that." I asked her, which part did she not mean? The part about replacing me, or the part about waiting it out for financial security? She opened her mouth, closed it, then walked away. That night, I emailed my lawyer again. "Let's fast track. I want out before the baby's born." By Wednesday, the wheels were fully in motion. My lawyer filed for divorce under grounds of infidelity and fraud. In our state, it doesn't guarantee anything, but it sets the tone. We also filed a motion to challenge paternity and remove any legal financial responsibility tied to the child. That part was critical, because if I didn't act fast and the baby was born while we were still legally married, I could be presumed the father by default, and on the hook for child support for the next 18 years. I wasn't just escaping a bad marriage. I was escaping a trap. I changed all my passwords, pulled my name off every joint account, froze my credit, had the locks rekeyed. She was still living in the house temporarily, but I made it clear. No more guests. Not Jeremy. Not her mom. Not anyone. I also set up a temporary mailing address and a secure P.O. box. Had my employer shift my paychecks into a new private account. Moved out of the master bedroom into the guest room. Installed a deadbolt. Elena didn't say much after that. She started acting like a tenant. Quiet, withdrawn, pacing. Every now and then, she'd hover near the door like she wanted to talk. But I wasn't interested in performances. Then I got the notification. Our home Wi-Fi pinged a new device. Jeremy's iPhone. She snuck him in. Again. I didn't say a word. I just walked downstairs, into the kitchen, and placed 2 documents on the counter. A restraining order against Jeremy. A formal written notice giving Elena 7 days to vacate the property. She came in 5 minutes later, looked at the papers, then looked at me. "Are you serious?" she asked, her voice cracking. I nodded. She picked them up with shaking hands. "I don't have anywhere to go." "Not my problem," I said. "But your boyfriend should probably start pulling his weight." She dropped the act. "What are you trying to prove?" "That I'm not the man you thought I was," I said. "You picked the wrong doormat." She didn't cry this time. She just walked away and started packing. Saturday morning, Jeremy showed up. Not knocking, not calling, just walked up the driveway like he owned the place. Guess Elena gave him the garage code before I changed it. I saw him through the window. He was carrying a duffel bag and a smug expression, like he'd been promoted. I opened the door before he had the chance to try it himself. "You're not supposed to be here," I said calmly. He smirked. "I'm here to help Elena move." "She didn't mention that," I replied. "Also, there's a restraining order filed, effective as of yesterday. Civil, not criminal, for now." He blinked, smirk faltering. "You're being ridiculous," he said. "She's pregnant. She needs support." "Then you should have supported her somewhere else," I said. "Not in my house. Not on my dime. Not in my clothes." He scoffed and took a step forward. "Bad idea." I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. I wasn't going to let him into my house just to create a scene Elena could use against me. "Listen," he said, lowering his voice like we were buddies. "You're clearly hurt, but this baby is happening, and I'm going to be in the picture no matter what. Fighting it won't change that." I looked him dead in the eyes. "Then be in the picture," I said. "But do it without my roof, my money, or my name on the birth certificate." That wiped the smug right off his face. "Elena told me you wouldn't make this hard," he muttered. "She told me she was carrying my child." I shot back. "So you'll understand if I stop taking her word for anything." He left 5 minutes later without his duffel bag. Elena didn't say a word when I walked back in. She was sitting on the bottom step of the stairs, clutching her phone like it might rewrite reality. Reality, unfortunately for her, was now signed and notarized. Sunday afternoon, the doorbell rang. I was already on edge, waiting for movers, watching every notification from the doorbell cam like a hawk. When I opened the door, I didn't expect them. Elena's parents. Her mom, the same woman who toasted to a real father at my house, stood there like she was the victim. Her dad was behind her, arms crossed, not even making eye contact. "We need to talk," she said, walking in like I'd invited her. I didn't stop her. Not right away. I wanted to hear what spin they were going to try. "We're very concerned," she began. "Elena is under enormous stress, and frankly, this behavior from you is alarming. She's carrying a child." "That isn't mine," I interrupted. Calm, clear, no emotion. She blinked. "Well, DNA isn't everything. A father is the man who shows up." I actually laughed. Couldn't help it. "Is that what Jeremy's doing? Showing up? With my credit card, my guest house, and my hoodie?" Her dad finally spoke. "You're blowing this out of proportion. It's not good for the baby to be in such a hostile environment." I looked at both of them. "You're right," I said. "It's not." Then I handed them copies of the restraining order and the vacate notice. And just to be clear, I pointed to the bottom. "Applies to all unauthorized guests, including but not limited to romantic partners and extended family attempting to cohabitate or intervene." Her mom's mouth dropped open. Her dad read it and muttered, "Jesus." Then I added, "If Elena needs a place to stay, you're welcome to take her in. Or better yet, Jeremy can step up. But her time here is done." They tried guilt. They tried the "this is a family" speech. I shut it down. "You made it very clear what kind of family this was," I said. "At the baby shower. Remember? When you all left." They left without another word. Elena didn't come out of her room the rest of the day. Tuesday was her last day in the house. I didn't hover. I didn't help. I stayed in the guest room, working remotely with noise-canceling headphones while the movers she'd hired came and went. Box after box. Most of it was stuff I'd bought. Furniture, appliances, decor she picked with my card. I didn't fight it. Let her take it all. I didn't want reminders. Around 6 p.m., I heard the front door close. Then silence. No footsteps. No car door slam. No engine. Just silence. I waited. A minute later, she knocked on the guest room door. "Elena, you don't need to say anything," I called through. "I do," she said. "Please." I opened the door. She was standing there in a hoodie, his again. Hair tied up, looking exhausted. She wasn't wearing makeup, and for once, there was no performative sadness, just empty. "I messed everything up," she said. I didn't respond. "I didn't mean for it to happen like this," she continued. "It started before I knew I was pregnant. And then I thought, I don't know, maybe I panicked. I thought you'd leave if you knew. But you didn't. You were just good." Still, I said nothing. "You were too good, and I couldn't handle it." That part stung more than I expected. She looked down, twisting her fingers. "I know you'll never forgive me, and I don't blame you. But I just needed you to know. I did love you. I still." "No," I said quietly. "You loved what I gave you. Stability, safety, a name, a future." She didn't argue. "Jeremy's not you," she said after a long pause. "I know," I replied. "That's the point." She turned to leave. At the door, she stopped and whispered, "If it turns out I was wrong about the paternity." "It won't," I said. "But if it somehow does, my lawyer has my number." She didn't cry, just nodded, and walked out of my house and my life. That was the last time I saw her in person. The days after she left were strange, not peaceful, not angry, just quiet. No more second toothbrush in the bathroom. No prenatal vitamins on the kitchen counter. No ghostly scent of her shampoo when I opened the closet. The silence was the loudest it had ever been in this house. And for the first time in months, I could breathe. I canceled every baby-related order, donated unopened diapers, boxed up nursery furniture, cleared the second bedroom entirely. I didn't want a shrine to a child that wasn't mine. I didn't want a memory of a future I never had. My lawyer finalized the filings. He asked me if I wanted to pursue reimbursement for the money she spent, for the months of mortgage I covered while she played house with someone else, for the prenatal care that never should have been my responsibility. I thought about it, long and hard, and in the end, I said no. Not because she didn't deserve to pay, but because I didn't want to drag it out. I didn't want to keep her name on documents, emails, court letters for the next 2 years. She'd already stolen enough of my time. That was my peace. Choosing not to chase. Let Jeremy pay now. Let him feel the weight of what she's like when the act wears off. When things get hard. When bills come due and the fantasy life requires actual sacrifice. I'd done my time. Now I was free. And the best part? She hadn't posted anything online since the day she left. No bump pictures. No gushing baby daddy captions. Nothing. Which meant maybe, just maybe, reality was setting in for her too. About 2 weeks after Elena moved out, I started getting messages. Not from her, but from mutuals, old friends, acquaintances, even one of her cousins who'd always seemed pretty neutral. Hey man, just checking in. Heard some stuff. Wanted to ask you directly. Sorry if this is out of line, but Elena's been saying you abandoned her while pregnant? One message even said, she told people you snapped and kicked her out for gaining weight. WTF? I almost laughed. Almost. Apparently, she'd crafted a full narrative. I was emotionally distant, controlling, jealous of Jeremy because she confided in him. And when she got pregnant, I panicked and bailed. According to her version, Jeremy was just a supportive friend who stepped up after I couldn't handle fatherhood. And the paternity test? She claimed I made it up. Said I used it to emotionally abuse her during her most vulnerable moment. It was nauseating. I didn't respond publicly. Didn't make a Facebook post or mass text anyone with my side. That's not me. Instead, I sent a handful of people, the ones who genuinely asked, a redacted copy of the lab result. Just the headline. Just the truth. One person wrote back, "Holy sh*T. She had everyone fooled." Another, "She said you were manipulating the facts. This isn't a fact. It's science." Word started to spread. Her version of events cracked fast. Apparently, even Jeremy's own friends started pulling away when they realized what was really going on. No one wants to co-sign fraud, especially when there's paperwork attached. I didn't feel vindicated, just tired, because cleaning up a lie is exhausting, even when you never told it. Last Thursday, I got an email from Elena. Not a call, not a knock. An email. Subject line, "Please." Just read. The tone was different. Not manipulative. Not angry. Just hollow. She said she wasn't writing to win me back, her words, but that she couldn't sleep at night not knowing if we could ever have a real conversation again. Said she missed me. Missed us. That she was in therapy. That Jeremy wasn't what she thought. And that she was figuring things out. She asked if we could meet for coffee. No expectations. Just closure. I stared at that line for a long time. Closure. The thing is, I already had closure. Came the moment I saw 0% on that lab report. Came the second she didn't deny it. I didn't need coffee. I didn't need one last cry at a cafe table with someone who looked me in the face for months and lied. So I didn't reply. Instead, I archived the email, then created a filter. Any future emails from her go straight to a folder called Past. Because that's what she is now. Not a partner. Not an enemy. Just the past. A closed chapter with lessons I'll carry, but pages I'll never reopen. It's been 3 months now. The divorce is finalized. The house is mine legally and fully. No debt tied to her, no lingering ties. She gave birth last week, according to a mutual friend. I didn't ask for details. Didn't need them. I don't know if Jeremy's still around. I don't care. The truth is, some betrayals are so complete, so designed, that you stop grieving the person and start grieving your own blindness. That's what took the longest. Forgiving myself for not seeing it sooner. And if you're reading this because something feels off in your relationship, because you're second-guessing things that used to feel solid, trust that feeling. Look at the patterns, not the apologies. Watch how they react to your boundaries, not just your affection. And most of all, don't confuse patience with denial. I did, for too long. What happened to me is not rare. It just usually doesn't end this cleanly. I got lucky because I stopped reacting emotionally and started documenting. Because I acted before the birth, before the law could trap me. Because I had friends who believed me when her version started making the rounds. I lost 6 years of my life, but I gained something too: clarity, and freedom, and peace. Thanks for reading, Reddit. If you're ever sitting in your car at 7 a.m. after a baby shower, staring at your hands, wondering if you're crazy for feeling something's wrong, you're not. Trust yourself. I wish I had sooner.